Great to be here with Darren Cheeseman, our local member for Corangamite, who's been doing a fantastic job as the local member here. I've been here many times before. I've seen what's happened with our investments in local schools, the local Epworth Hospital, as well as in broadband and supports for families in critical areas like the School Kids Bonus, which is currently paid to 11,000 local families, and that stands now at risk under Mr Abbott's plans. Great to have Gary Gray here, all the way from the great state of Western Australia. Caught the red eye overnight last night, and so his commitment to small business exceeds his comfort on aircraft. So he's joined us here to talk about some important initiatives for the future of small business. I've said 1,000 times in this campaign that I'm in the building business. I'm into how we build Australia's future, how we build the new industries and new jobs of the future. And I've talked about how we do that with manufacturing. I've talked about how we do it in agribusiness, up in the north, in the Ord and up in the Territory. I've talked about how we do this in the new high-tech manufacturing areas as well. When we visited the Australian Hearing Hub, for example, in Sydney, I've talked about how we build the new industries and jobs of the future in areas such as medical innovation and research when we visited the Translational Research Institute in Brisbane the other day. And also the skills that are needed right across the community services sector as well. We are investing in all these new industries, new training, new jobs for the future. Underneath it all is the absolute powerful importance of small business. Small business formation is fundamental to Australia's future, and it's fundamental to me as well. I used to have a small business. I ran it for a few years, and I know something of the challenges involved in getting yourself started if you choose to become incorporated and what you then do next. Therese, my wife, she began with a small business, which became a medium business, and which became a large business. And so the stepping stones involved in building up a business, we're very familiar with. And our task here today is to make sure that we are building also and helping build the small businesses of the future. There's about 3.5 million small businesses in Australia, and so therefore each and every one of those businesses is important to us because we're on about the little guy. We're on about the little guy, the person who, for example, is out there needing support through Disability Care Australia because they may not be able to work because of a disability. The person who's unemployed, we're standing up for them as well because we want them to be properly supported and then find their way back to work. We're standing up for the little guy in terms of fair pay and fair conditions in the employment of the larger companies in this country. And that's why the Fair Work Act is so important. But we're also standing up for the little guy in small business. The little guy in small business and the women in small business, the men in small business, getting these businesses started, going and succeeding is the pathway to Australia's economic future as well. And we're passionate about each and every one of those drivers of growth and employment for the future. Which brings us here to this wonderful cafe and coffee shop and bar down at beautiful Torquay in the beautiful electorate of Corangamite, represented by our great local member here. And this is a great example of Australian small business at work. This entire area fills out with holiday makers from Melbourne during the course of the summer, and it's a beautiful stretch of coastline. I can say that with all the impartiality of a Queenslander. This is a nice stretch of coast. I give it a good mark. Good. Okay. And what we're here today to talk about is how we provide better support for small businesses like this right across the country. We want to take more of the red tape burden off Australian small businesses by offering a clearinghouse for superannuation payments by small business operators and for paid parental leave payments as well, so we can help grow the small businesses of tomorrow. Now, on the details of these two proposals, both for the clearinghouse for superannuation payments and for the clearinghouse for paid parental leave payments, I'll turn now to our Small Business Minister, Gary Gray, to outline the announcements for you, and then we'll take some questions. Gary.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Darren, Kirsty, it's great to be here at Torquay talking small business. As the Prime Minister has said, there are millions of small businesses around our country, and one of the constant commentaries from small business is the need to cut red tape. Red tape that comes from local government, red tape that comes from insurance companies, red tape that comes from banking, red tape that comes from state governments, and there's red tape from the Commonwealth Government. But I'm pleased to say that in the course of this year, we've cut more than 4,000 pieces of federal regulation. And what we're doing today is cutting even more red tape for small business. You see, the payment of superannuation to workers in small businesses until now has added red tape and complexity to the running of that small business. So making the superannuation payments through the superannuation clearinghouse reduces that effectively to a single transaction. And it also allows the business to operate through effectively pre-populated documentation. What we mean by that is documentation that has already been electronically completed through the superannuation clearinghouse. What we also do, in addition to that, is make our paid parental leave program. Now, this is an important program because it's a fully funded, functioning, working program from which already mums and dads and kids are benefiting. And it provides a real benefit to workers. So what we do for small businesses is we will now, for all businesses with fewer than 20 employees, that benefit will be paid effectively through Centrelink, removing again a layer of red tape, bureaucracy and burden, but at the same time, with both superannuation and paid parental leave, ensuring that benefits for workers are maintained, the cost of delivering those benefits for employers is reduced, and ensuring that what we have is a working, functioning, fair system. They're good reforms, they're reforms that benefit small business, and they're reforms that we know the system is ready to bear. Prime Minister?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well done. Thanks very much, Gary. So, out here supporting small businesses, the measure on paid parental leave and using government as a clearinghouse will affect 700,000 small businesses in Australia. It takes effect as of the 30th September next year. Got to set it up, make sure it's all in order. But frankly, that's 700,000 plus businesses, small businesses that would benefit from that. And the extension of the clearinghouse we already offer for businesses under 20 employees for superannuation payments, by extending that to businesses with 100 staff or less, that's going to benefit an extra 92,000 small businesses. These have been fully accounted for in the budget. One measure costs us $4.8 million over 4 years, the other $10.3 million over 4 years, all funded in PFO, all ready to go. Over to you, folks.